not really be repeated, and it's time that we had really strong regulators, and these regulators should be armed with enough powers and enough enforcement to deal with it. The other thing is that when such a thing happens, for instance, in the case of banks, if you and me lose deposit in banks, there is an insurance cover at least up to the extent of rupees 1 lakh. It may have varied, but at least basic minimum there is an insurance. What's called group insurance or whatever mechanism you might call it. This regulator, whosoever now will be in charge of, must also, or maybe the RBI can also step in and insist that all these private NBFCs, people who deposit money from common households, common people, there must be a mechanism where their deposits should be protected by an insurance mechanism at least to a minimum level, so that at least they are not on the road. So, even in this case, if there was an insurance mechanism, say if your deposits were protected to the extent say 20,000 rupees or even 15,000 rupees in the case of poor man, it would have really come some kind of a relief. So, I think their solution should be a good strong regulator, insurance mechanism to protect your deposits, which is there in all the countries, because when it comes to banks, the system is in place. But why can't it be extended to the NBFCs? Because at the end of the day, we cannot throw the baby with the bathtub, because if something has gone wrong, you can't shut all the chit fund companies.
Right.
You can't really count. Some good guys maybe also be termed as rogues. That's not fair to them. So, we must have system in place, and the system must be workable. And I think at the end of the day, it's all boils down to the quality of the governance that we are talking about. What kind of a governance is there?
But the point to be worried about is something that Mr. Gupta tried to draw our attention to. Mr. Gupta, you mentioned a few minutes ago that the tendency to default is increasing.
Yeah.
And chit funds do not have proper safeguards as far as the judicial process is concerned.
That's right.
Courts are not able to ensure the recovery of funds that you have lost when somebody defaults. So, a fallout would be that levels of trust will fall and people might decrease. As you said, people have already started decreasing their investments in chit funds as far as the situation in Delhi is concerned. Is this happening elsewhere also? Is this happening in other states too? That chit funds, operations of chit funds are shrinking. Is it happening at other places too?
Yeah, to this problem, I'll highlight this thing. As far as the loan amount is not securitized by any of the assets, and you have to go to the legal courts to recover the money, and that process so cumbersome, so lengthy, and time you go and don't get your money back, and the cycle gets blocked.
Right.
And this is the collapse of the system then.
Yeah. So, is this collapse taking place in other states also, or is this situation particular to Delhi?
Wherever the loan amount is not securitized by the asset, variable asset and proper asset, I think the same situation might have been happening everywhere.
So that means that essentially points towards a decline of this system, of reliable chit funds.
Yeah, definitely.
We can see a trend emerging towards a decline of this.
Exactly, and it is already going on. It is already going on, I suppose.
Okay. Shantanu, do you see this happening?
I don't see anyone will be able to stem the rot. You know why? I have a very solid argument here. What do you expect SEBI to do? SEBI has multiple cases handling on its own. If you are pushing NBFCs to SEBI also, which SEBI is already looking at, only the big fish, let's say a Sahara, could be caught. Now, look at the SEBI Sahara case and where Sahara has argued it.
Yeah.
It has inserted huge multi-crore advertisements in mainline dailies.
Yeah.
It has said that it has sent truckloads, maybe 10, 15 truckloads of documents proving these are all their investors. And when the same paper gets leaked into the media saying one Kalavathi, maybe there are 500 Kalavathis, 5,000 Kalavathis, then people are just quiet. So, imagine you are talking of a big NBFC. Now, here I am talking of a small NBFC. Many of them, 70, 80, 90 in one state. Who is going to regulate them? The state government has the full powers. The state government, if it connives with them, then you have a free-for-all. That means there is nobody even to stop you from doing whatever you want. So, they have done it. and they have picked up the money. It's almost like trying to impose a ban on public smoking. That's fine. You can announce the ban. But to enforce that ban, do you have the wherewithal? Does India have that many policemen trying to pick up anyone who's lighting a cigarette? You don't have that. So here we are saying we will bring a mechanism in place. It's too late. The money which is lost is all gone. People will have to start the savings again. You know, the irony of life in India is top banks are fine by losing money to companies like Kingfisher.
Yeah.
But they won't invest that kind of a money to try and set up the infrastructure in a poor village where the villager is earning more because agriculture, in a country where 50% of people are into agriculture, you will rarely see a bank in a village. And that is the irony.
Now, Shantanu, what you were saying is that the government apparatus, the administration might not respond adequately to the situation. But how will people respond? Will people
will respond by committing. People will respond by committing suicides.
No,
people
but
will come on the streets. They will demonstrate.
Yeah.
I mean, demonstration is a part of Bengali psyche. They always demonstrate.
Yeah.
So they'll all come to the street. They'll shout, rave,
Yeah.
rant.
Yeah.
And then they will go home.
And then they will go home. And then they
That
will.
means their loss is there.
And then they will forget.
They will
But
forget the case. Will go
what
on.
about after that? Will
don't
people's
see- I
will
don't see-
people's faith in chit funds break down?
People's faith in chit fund will remain because people don't have any option. Even if another organized way of collecting money may not happen, people among themselves, what is called committee in a larger parlance across the country, people will continue to do that. So unless there is an alternative offer to those people
Yeah.
by the government, by the bankers, by insurance companies, this rot will continue.
But on the other hand, there are cases like Mr. Gupta's company, and he is pointing out towards this general trend in Delhi. As he said, you have the numbers, that there were about 10,000 companies when they began operations. Now they have come down to about 1,000 companies.
Okay.
They are declining operations because it's turning out to be a non-profitable
And why it's
business.
turning out to be non-profitable? It's turning out to be non-profitable
Because
because
the
defaults.
tendency to default
The
is
tendency to
increasing,
default is
and
very
there is
high.
no safeguard
Exactly,
of
because
recovery.
there is no the tendency to default is high,
Yeah.
but people in Delhi still have an alternate. There are better alternatives available.
Yeah.
Look at the east. The east is the least developed zone of India. Northeast is the least developed zone in the country.
Yeah.
In those places, where is the guarantee? I mean, look at all journalists who became so gullible to pick up those jobs and they landed up there. Salary is not paid for 5, 6, 7 months. And today, all of a sudden, everything is gone.
Yeah.
And look at the way he spread his empire. He had a Rajya Sabha MP as his CEO who would sit in studio discussions, he would write editorials trying to push one particular party in the state, the ruling party, and then suddenly before it busted, he just resigned. Does that mean that he's not answerable?
Yeah.
That he should not be arrested, he should not be questioned? He has to be questioned.
Yeah.
So he must cooperate in that investigation and try and explain if possibly this money could be recovered and these people could be paid.
Right.
Though I doubt that very much, that the money could be recovered and the people could be paid, because the money which has gone out has gone out. It can't be brought back.
Prakashji, the demand for making political funding transparent has been on in the country for a very long time, but the ball has not been set in motion yet as far as making electoral funding transparent is concerned. Do you think it will be possible to track cases like Saradha better if the funding of political parties is made transparent?
I think you are raising a very macro level question, which I don't know, because this particular case, so far as the chit fund and NBFC misuse is concerned, my take would be that one, have a strong regulator, the other, that at the end of the day, as Shantanu said, he doesn't see much hope. But
No, but how do you, my question is, how do you de-link them from political patronage?
No, I'll tell you what.
Because they
that will be
they,
very difficult,
they
sir.
proliferate because of political patronage.
Well, that's a
Yeah,
different,
that'll
that's a
always
different,
be
that's a
there. Let's
different
not forget.
question. I'm saying, okay,
Yeah.
I am a poor deposit holder. Let first of all, what government can do, what government can do, and what the state machinery can do is as follows.
Yeah.
Number one, have a strong regulator, both at the state level, at the center level. Number two, launch a massive campaign, especially in state places where use mass media.
Yeah.
Massive campaign that please be aware. There is no power on the earth which can really make your money grow 3 times a year. No, nobody has a magic wand. It's like somebody walking in your home and say, give me jewelry, I'll double it in 2 hours. So have that kind of measure. At the end of the day, people must be empowered themselves to take informed decision. Let us not play. So, and let us not underestimate them. If we inform them, they will react. They will react positively. I think that's my take on it.
Okay. Well, on that note, we're slipping into yet another break. The discussion will continue on the other side. Stay tuned to Insight. Welcome back. You're watching Insight, and today we are talking about chit funds in the country. Shantu, the other dimension of the Saratha story that you've been mentioning about is the fact that Saratha Group, on the back of investments or on the back of revenue earned because of the chit fund, Saratha Group or the owner Sudipto Sen turned into a media baron, started out newspapers and television channels to defend the government and also to make to milk news channels and the newspapers for making his own fortune. So does that call for a new round or a new mechanism wherein funding of media houses also should be made transparent, maybe both print and electronic?
Well, I think funding of media houses have always been completely behind the wall. Rarely you will know who owns a newspaper or a magazine or a television channel. It is sad, it is unfortunate in the country which has got almost 825 news channels. Today, I think it's a very good move on the part of the Information and Broadcasting Minister, who has demanded that all newspapers, magazines and television channels should declare who has shares in them.
But they say that we do that already.
No, they do. Even if they do already, there is a third party which has taken it through a different way. So you really do not know who actually owns them. Now, even if you will realize that people's investment in the media is what? People's investment in the media is primarily to stave off criticism. People have media. Let's not forget, politicians, they own channels only to protect their interest. People own newspapers, they own magazines so that they become powerful. They can have their say in their magazine. So you get a counter voice. So as a result, many people have gone into this. My question is, there are 5 ministries involved whenever a channel is given a license: Home, Finance, Telecom, Corporate Affairs and Information and Broadcasting. But for all these 5 channels doing all these years, who gave all those licenses to start newspapers, to start magazines, to start news channels, and today you are clamoring that they have closed shop? I mean, you will be amazed to see that in Bengal there used to be a clear divide between one part of the media completely supporting the state government and the other part trying to do some balancing act by doing decent reporting. So look at the way the journalist was become vulnerable. The journalist was actually at the crossroads. Today you really do not know, if you have trying to do great investigative story on the state government, you really do not know whether your channel is interested in carrying that or not. And with all those mechanisms in place, 5 ministries have to give a clearance before a channel or a newspaper can start. What was the registrar of newspapers doing? They have a huge office, they have a huge operation. The Indian Newspaper Society, what is their job? So all of them started just overnight and closed within a year, funded by dubious Ponzi schemes. So, I mean, as if there is no tomorrow. I mean, so somebody has to answer all that, and no wonder the Prime Minister is deliberately not, Prime Minister is not keen to push the baton very high. He is not keen. He is saying that he needs answers from all these ministries. They have to answer to him that why did they give permission to all these dubious channels and newspapers and magazines. I mean, you can't just haul a state government over the coals because people close to them have shut shop. Permissions came from Delhi.
Right.
So So they are equally responsible for that.
Prakash, is the electronic media more culpable than the print here, or they are both equally culpable?
Apparently, economic media is more looks because in electronic media, somehow the funding has been a question. In the print media, there is still a mechanism where annually you need to really disclose. You need to disclose who all are the main shareholders, and even registration even in the print media is a little difficult. But electronic media, they manage it. Apparently, electronic media has been more culpable than the print media.
Okay.
And somehow they have managed it. And I don't know really, especially in terms of news, when we say electronic media, when generally what we mean is the news media. The news media, the credibility is a big question mark today. The credibility of the electronic news media, especially in the private sector, is because they grew very fast. The state owned and the channel which we are discussing is now again being watched more rigorously, more intensely, more keenly, because people are really fed up with some of these channels where there's simply chaos, shouting, screaming, and these reporters, the way they report, totally judgmental. Totally judgmental. I mean, a reporter of say 2 years experience would come out and give all kind of judgments against investigating officer, against the who is accused. They have forgotten the words like alleged, words like accused. They will make anybody a culprit. So I think this is a big question mark where media is concerned. I think this is a concern for all of us.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, what do you think is the future of chit fund business in India?
जैसे की चीज़ है, the way things are moving on, I don't think there is any future for the chit funds in India.
Okay.
There has to be some proper governance, some proper administration to look after the companies, the interest of the company, the interest of the subscribers. Only then the things can go well.
Okay.
But I assure you, this is an excellent concept where a person who is not able to part out with his securities and he gets the money. For the lower category of people, the person who is not earning very well, he gets a chance to get the money and make his future financially solid. So that works that way very well. But then the question remains, how when you don't get the securities and you lend out to somebody and the person is not paying you back and the money is not being recovered, so then the company defaults and the whole story goes doldrums.
Okay.
That is the situation which goes on.
Will there still be a need for chit funds if the banking sector expands, if every Indian in the country has access to a bank, easy banking? Will there still be need for chit funds?
Oh, for that I can say, if a person gets educated well.
Okay. But even that is easier said than done. Our banking system still remains to be far, the dream of financial inclusion seems to be still a distant dream. I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Sunil Gupta, Shantanu Guhare, Prakash Chawla, thank you so much for your time. That's all we have time for you in this edition of Insight. Thank you so much for joining us, and do stay tuned to Lok Sabha Television for more. Namaskar.